Hey, what's up? I'm Tyson the Trainer, and thank you for downloading your free calorie calculator. Now, I'm going to explain to you how to use this and the best way you can go about this, because a lot of people are getting a little bit confused, so I just thought I'd make this video to show you exactly how to do it. Firstly, this is going to be in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So if you try and open it on your phone, or if you are trying to open it on your phone or Google Drive, it's not going to work. You're going to need Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, okay? Once you've opened it up, you're going to be able to see some numbers here. And there's only going to be certain things you can edit. You can only edit these two numbers, okay? This is a very simple calculator that I'm going to get you to use, and it's the most accurate you are going to use. The reason it's going to be the most accurate is because I'm going to ask for your daily step count. The reason for this is because it's going to track your actual activity. People on the online calculators that you download, it'll just ask you a range. Are you moderately active? Are you sedentary? Are you highly active? It's very hard to know. Where if you're tracking your steps, I'm going to give you a more accurate answer as to what your calories are going to be close to be. Now, for a lot of you, when you enter this, it's going to seem quite high, and that's totally normal. But just remember, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'd be quite a shit coach if I was giving you calories that were actually going to make you put on weight. So trust me when you have this answer. Okay, so all you're going to do first is you're going to put in your body weight, and then you're going to put in the amount of steps you do. Now, if I'm going to put in 12,000 steps a day, it's going to give me an answer on this right hand side here. And as I've got just a little note here, what's the difference between BMR and your maintenance? Well, BMR is if you were lying in bed all day, this is how many calories you would burn just lying in bed doing nothing. Because guess what? Your body burns energy just doing nothing. You need to survive, so we have a minimum energy intake. Then we have our maintenance calories. And our maintenance calories are the amount of calories we need to eat to maintain our current weight based off the steps we're doing in our current body weight. Okay? So this is what we're going to be looking for, our maintenance calories down here. Now, like I said, this will probably be a lot higher than people think. It's totally normal. In regards to thinking about, what if I do training? What if I'm doing this? This is taking into account that you are someone who does weight training. If you are someone who is a runner or an athlete, then actually this is underestimating your overall calories. So this is just for people who are doing weight training, whether it be 3 to 5 times a week, and you're doing your steps. That's all you need to worry about. If you're someone who's an athlete, who is a runner or doing endurance sports, please message me and I can help you calculate your calories even better. But for anyone else, this includes if you're doing F45, CrossFit, all these things, we're just doing steps because you don't burn that many calories when you're in the gym. And also your fitness watch app, whatever you're doing to track your steps, is going to account the reps you do technically as steps, which is why we only need steps, right? So now you know your maintenance calories. Then on the right hand side here, you've got percentage based on your body weight with what you would need in order to lose. Okay, so for someone, if I needed to lose 0.25% of my body weight, I would eat 3,200. If I wanted to lose 0.5% of my body weight a week, it would be 3,000 calories roughly. If I wanted to lose 0.75, and if I wanted to lose 1%. Obviously, the more you want to lose, the faster you want to go, the bigger the deficit is going to be. I really don't recommend you lose any more than 0.5% of your body weight a week, because from here, 3,500 to here, 25, that's 1,000 calorie difference. That's going to be very tough for a lot of people. Now, some people can do it, but let me just say, just because you want to go faster doesn't mean it's always the answer. Having a plan that you can stick to that may not be as fast is better than aiming for a fast plan and falling off track. That's what you've got to remember, okay? Just make sure with whatever you pick, you can be consistent. And then on this side, I have the grams per kilogram of body weight. So it starts off at 1.6 because this is your minimum intake that you should be having, okay? So as long as you're hitting that minimum, anywhere above is gonna be absolutely fine. The only reason I put 1.6 here as your minimum is because ideally I want to see people around the 2 gram mark, but if you get this in, it's covering your bases. That should be your first goal, and then you can work your way up there. Regarding other macronutrients, it doesn't matter, okay? A lot of people will tell you, you need this amount of fats or you need this amount of carbs. I'm telling you right now, you do not need to worry about your macronutrients. As long as you're not doing super low fat or super low carb, you're gonna be absolutely fine. So my recommendation for you, track your calories and protein and just make sure you're getting some good fats in and getting some carbohydrates in. That's all you need to worry about, okay? Remember, I'm here to help you and give you free advice, and I want you not to stress about things that aren't worth stressing about. Now, once you know your calculations, okay, let's say you know your maintenance calories, and then you know what your deficit's gonna be, I want you to eat at your maintenance calories for 2 weeks. The reason for this is because you need to give your body stability and structure. Once you have stability and structure and you're eating consistently, what you're going to see is that it's going to be a lot easier to stick to these targets. And because you're eating roughly the same calories every day, your body is not in a stressed out state. A lot of people, they'll eat higher calories one day, lower calories the other day, higher calories, lower calories. They just forget to eat some days and other days they're binging, and your body is not having any stability, and that's why there's stress involved. So when you give your body roughly those amount of calories, what's going to happen is that you're going to give your body stability, and it's going to be a lot easier to go into a deficit. Not only that, is it just starts off at a better point that you know consistently you've been tracking that amount of food for 2 weeks and it's setting you up for success. Trying to jump straight into a deficit when you haven't been consistently eating the same amount of food isn't going to be successful for your body. And you may have to go into a bigger deficit than you think to start seeing results. Okay? So, like I said, 2 weeks, I've even written it here. 2 weeks, eat at roughly your maintenance calories, then decide what deficit you want to go in and look to make sure you hit your minimum protein intake. Finally on this, it says your maintenance calories here is 3,532. This is not an exact number, okay? It's a range. Usually the body with maintenance is about 100 calories, give or take. So I would say you're between 3,400 and 3,600 basically. So anywhere between them is gonna be 5. Like, you do not need to worry about the exact numbers. We don't want to get caught up here. It's just a rough estimate based on calculations that I have to give. So again, as long as you're between like a 100 calorie range on either side of your recommendation, so for here, 3,200, go between 3,100 and 3,300, you're gonna be absolutely fine. Trust me. Don't get so pedantic in the numbers. And then, like I said, you can go into a deficit. The final thing I would say is take your measurements and take your starting photos. Just this way, when a lot of people start to eat maintenance first, they're going to be stressing. They're like, oh, I'm not sure, am I gaining weight? And then it's like, we look at the measurements, and I always show my clients after a week of eating consistently these calories, and we look at their measurements, they don't change. If anything, your measurements on your waist will actually go down, usually by 1 centimeter or 2. So don't be surprised if your waist measurements go down. So please make sure you do take your measurements. Ignore the weight, because the weight will go up if you're eating more calories overall and having more food volume, but your measurements will not change, and that's going to be the biggest indicator. So make sure, again, you take your measurements before you start, and then take your measurements every weekend for the first 2 weeks to make sure that you're going to see no changes, and then you go into your deficit. I hope this is helpful. I'm really excited to be able to, for you to be able to calculate your calories and go with it. If you have any questions, you can reply to the email and let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.